start with Beverle. Yeah? Beverle and Brad! Come on!
Pack it up, pack it in, let me
You
begin.
feel like a rock star?
Woo-hoo. Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Yeah, holy moly.
They love you, Bev. They love you.
What's this holy moly? You've got to explain to the rest of the group as to what the holy moly is, Brad.
Apparently, I say "holy moly" a lot in my coach calls when I'm like, "What, holy moly!" And that's it's a word that I say a lot that I'm not sure of. But
So tell us what your platinum group did to you. This rowdy mob at the front here.
come on. So we had a social night the other night, which was really awesome, and we all come together, and they did a beautiful thing for me, actually. It was a big surprise, I didn't know, and they had all these shirts made. They had, because I say holy moly a lot, they had holy moly printed across the shirt with a little picture of me, and they all just surprised me, jumped up, and I think a lot of people were really hot. They had coats on, hiding it from me, sweating. You know, come on, hurry up, we've got to surprise Brad. And I'm taking my time, and they've got to go out the room and cool down, come back in with a coat on. And they just, which was a beautiful thing. And so thank you so much. You're very beautiful.
And you're part of the Holy Moly group.
I am. Yes.
All right, Beverle. Tell us about yourself.
I don't usually like to talk about myself, but it's been a bit of a journey over a few years, and at this point in time, I'm the mother of 3 adults, husband, and dog. Look, I've got my family up on the slides, and also my mum, because they're my why. My mum in 2 different ways, in a negative way and a positive way. So I don't want to retire with little financial backing. But I do want to be like her, because she's very resilient and she's strong and she's positive in the face of, things that happen to her. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you end up in the community?
I started investing in 2001, and I had 2 properties that were okay. I guess I'd sort of taken the view, you sit on them for a while and you'll get the capital growth, and they actually weren't negative, they were neutral, a little bit positive. That was a mistake, by mistake, not by design. And then I thought, I need to ramp that up, and I ended up doing 2 things at the same time. I bought another investment property, and it was total disaster. House and land package at the end of a boom in a mining town. So
that would have hurt.
Yeah, still hurting. Because I actually haven't been able to sell it, so I've still got it. But
the mining is turning around now, so.
Yeah.
And I held on to it this long, it'll come around.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm waiting to see what The Economist says this morning about regional Queensland. So, yeah. Also, the other thing I did was a non-real estate investment, and I did what I thought. I did all my due diligence on that, and thought, well, I only have to hold this for 2 years, and then I'll break even. If something happens after 2 years, well, so be it. Well, something happened after about 6 or 7 months, and I lost all my money on that. So my confidence was very, very low. but I also knew I had to do something to turn that around. And I had actually been watching you for a while.
Oh, you've been keeping an eye on me, had you?
I was Googling. I was stalking you at one dayers. And yeah, because I'd been taken for a ride, that the two things that were bad were through the same person. So I'd been taken for a ride. So I was very, very cautious. And yeah, there were actually some not nice things being said about you on the internet, but that comes with
You get that. When you put your head up, that's what happens.
Yeah. But one of the things that made me decide that you were an honest person was the wildly wealthy women.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were on there refuting all the nasty claims. And I thought, if you have support like that, there's got to be a reason for it.
You know, when somebody came out to say something against me, when I was doing Wildly Wealthy Women many, many years ago, the women had organised, and I had to stop them, the women had actually organised to do this protest in front of this person's house with all the media, and they were going to take all their tops off. And they go, "We are wildly wealthy women, and back off." I go, "No, I don't think that's appropriate for response." So, they were very loyal. So that you were glad you didn't see that on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure I need that picture in my head right now.
Right, a bit of distraction, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So.
Holy moly, yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's definitely holy moly, that is.
Okay. So, having made my decision, I signed up after the one day and I went to Oldham, but there was this thing in my head. I was stuck in a place of not deserving.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in there still for quite a while, even after joining up. But I'd had this decision that I wasn't allowed to do any quantum, I wasn't allowed to do any platinum or anything like that until I'd earned some money and paid back what I'd paid for Ultimate. It was good in a way because the first year I did nothing but learn. I just went through all the material and I practiced, research and Investar and the feasibilities.
Which is all good grounding, yep.
Yeah, but it was really hard without having somebody to bounce things off. Now, I did call Michael Franks a fair bit. Then I started feeling guilty about that because I was sucking up so much of his time. I still needed a bit of one-on-one, I think. So in the middle of all of that, another disaster hit. I had helped my mother get into a house in regional New South Wales, and I went on her loan as, it was supposed to be guarantor, but the bank wouldn't do that. They said I had to be a borrower, but what I didn't realise was that if I didn't tell them to do differently, that meant my name would go on the title. And that was $40,000 she bought for, but when she came to buy it, it was, sell it, sorry, it had gone up to $200,000. And so if she sold that, I was going to be hit with capital gains tax obligation. And everybody I spoke to said, suck it up, you just have to pay it. I didn't have $40,000, I was in debt. And there was only one person who really said it's worth a crack, and that was Jade from Investment Accounting Network. And then said, well, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And I spent a lot of time going through all of the private rulings through the ATO. I couldn't find one situation that was exactly like mine. They were all a little bit dodgy on the side. Like, I literally had not put 1 cent towards my mum's house. She's a proud woman. She wouldn't want me to. All I'd done was help her get the loan. Thankfully, she is a good record keeper, and she had all of her records, where all of the money came from. So I was able to present all of that to the ATO, and they ruled in my favour.
There you go. Well done.
Yeah.
So there's a bit
Thank you.
of dogged determination coming out there.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a turning point. It's a bit of a milestone for me because it's like I can
It's an energy
instead
shift.
of I can't. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? So this was your starting position back in 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a negative. You had a potentially a $40,000 GST bill looming, which was on your mum's house, which unfortunately you got out of. A few negatives there. A couple of small positives.
Yeah.
So you're in an
Dobby's
okay
not
situation, really.
Look.
You might not have felt like it, but, you know, a lot of people look at them and go, oh, she's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Like one of the things you said was that life was not bad, but it was hard.
Life can be hard.
Yeah. So that resonated with me. Dorby's looking pretty good there. Doesn't look so good right now.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Okay. So what action did you take?
Well, I joined Ultimate,
Yeah.
did all that work and everything that I said. My Armadale property is on a big block of land, and I've always wanted to develop that. So I actually did spend a lot of time researching that, and the feasibilities were looking like I could build 4 or 5, and I could keep 2, sell the rest. I probably would have had $100,000 in equity and about $8,000 in income. But I was too scared to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And that, you know, that's something that I wanted to bring up this morning, because we all get paralysed with fear with varying things, and it's really then a matter of how you cope with that and how you break through it. So what action did you take?
Join Platinum.
So the onus is now on Brad. And the Holy Moly group.
Yeah. Brad's been my best friend for a while.
So this is the one in Armadale, is it? No, this is a joint venture.
That was after joining. That was a joint venture with a Platinum student who should be here. Hi, Peter. Yeah, we actually got some. We were supposed to quick in, quick out, subdivide, sell the land, light reno on the house, sell both. And we should have had about $90,000 out of that, so 50-50.
Yep.
We got some bad advice from a consultant. The land was actually just a fraction short of the land sizes. It was like 10 square metres or something.
Yeah,
it was tiny. And they said, no, that's fine. We can get around that variation. And when we put the application in, council went, no, can't do that. And we went, well, consultant, you know, what's going on here? Oh, I was told you could. So
So we've still got a profit up there. What happened?
we ended up reapplying with a DA to have a dwelling on the back. So we just put another 4-bedroom house on the back because that was what the market was looking for. That was a 4x2x2.
Yep.
So we just put another 4x2x2 on it, relodged it, and sold it with the DA.
Okay.
And we came out
So
with...
it would have been a strata then, rather than a freehold title.
I don't know what the buyer would have done with it, but they could have subdivided it then.
Okay.
But you had
Once
to build
it was there in
first.
place. That's often the case, particularly for New South Wales.
One of the things also I just want to point out, because just go back, that down the bottom there it says second exit strategy. So one of the things that is really important, and when you're looking at a deal, is this is your preference and what you want to achieve, and this is where you're going to head down to start off with. But you need to know, well, what happens if this happens? So what's our next exit strategy? And then if that doesn't happen, what's our next? So if you have that mapped out, you sort of got an idea of, well, there's multiple different ways you can get out of the deal, right? And which is, Bev is so good at doing, and the research and investigation work and the due diligence that goes into everything that Bev does is amazing. And it's really looking at each one of those exit strategies. So it's really important point for everyone to consider when you're looking at deals.
Yep.
Okay, so then we're back to Long Jetty, which I assume is Armidale, is it?
No, it's...
No, it's still not Armidale.
No,
All
there's
right,
another
right
one.
What's Long Jetty?
Long Jetty, Central Coast,
Right.
New South Wales. And this is the deal that I've just spent the last 12 months on. So this is the deal we've done with Brad. And when I bought this, it was November 2016, settled on Remembrance Day. So remember this deal. And we were going to do commercial finance. So I did all the right things and started getting the plans together and all of that sort of thing. And then APRA stuck their bib into bank's business. And my commercial finance went out the window. So then I had to start looking at other finance options. So I got this through to DA. And so what I needed was the finance for the construction. Had all of the strategy costs, like I had all the money for that. I just needed the construction by itself. But then when it came to doing the structural engineering as well, and the soil test unexpectedly came out problem site. So to build the foundations, there was going to be lots of piers, so every pier is another cost, and there was recommendations of how to go about it to keep the cost down, but could cost more. Finance was looking really expensive and it started looking a bit risky. So I then went to my third exit strategy, so commercial, private, and the third exit strategy was sell with DA, which I did.
And you made a nice profit.
And I made a very nice profit, thank you very much.
Very good. Persistence pays through.
Yeah.
So well and truly played for platinum then?
Yeah. You could say that.
So more things,
yeah.
Things are more important than property.
Yeah, so, part of my pre-Dimpner guilt trip was things that I was not able to be there for certain things. So, as my kids went through their school education into higher education, and I couldn't afford to pay for TAFE fees and uni fees and things like that, which I really, really wanted to do. But it's just every last cent was just going to pay the interest on the debt. The Tamor helped a lot, and I had paid more cash to get the debt down, get the debt down, get the interest down, you've got to get that ball rolling, but it still wasn't enough. And that I can't get that back, So anyway.
So do you feel in a better place with that now?
Yes. Well, one thing I can help is with my daughter's wedding.
There you go.
So that's the proposal, which was in Trafalgar Square in London. Some random person taking photos, as they tend to do these days. I'm told it's not uncommon.
You were good at stalking Dimpner, so you stalked your daughter getting you proposed to.
Yeah, she was actually working there. She nannies, and her one task was to fly over to London, stay there for a week, have a good time, and bring her charge home.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a pretty nice way to get a free trip to London.
So
Yeah.
she met somebody in a week?
No.
Like she moves fast, this girl.
Oh, not my daughter. No, the boyfriend went with her.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
And there's some happy snaps of all of you?
Yeah, so this is my wife. These are my three families. So I've got my biological family, my church family, and my property family. So, everybody here who jumped up out of their seats as we came down the aisle, you're my platinum family, you're my property family, and I love you.
So your learnings?
My learnings. Yeah, ask more questions. When somebody tells you they can do something that's could get you into trouble, get proof. Yeah, the experts aren't always right, so you've always got to do your own research, and you're always responsible for everything that happens to you. It doesn't matter really. People think that there are things that happen to you that, you know, they have no control over. Well, that's true, but you're always responsible for how you respond to that. So, you know, if somebody tells you they can do something and it turns out that you can't, well, it's not their fault, it's yours because you didn't check on it.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah. And rewards are really important. So you've got to, every milestone, like I plan rewards.
Good.
So,
Great.
So do I. Even little
Yeah.
ones like gardening, once I get this done.
Exactly, yeah. This one was a big one though. Just pretty much immediately after I joined Platinum, which is probably a really bad time for this to happen. But a friend of mine said that she was going over to the UK. She was doing a cruise around the Baltic Sea with her parents. She's English, so she goes over every now and again. And there was space in her cabin. Did I want to come along? So I went and I looked at my bank account and I worked out how much it was going to cost, and lo and behold, bank account and cost were exactly the same. And I thought, well, if that's not a message, I don't know what is. So I went and I had a ball.
Good on you, girl.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Longevity had to wait.
Yeah.
So here's your final
Yeah.
results there back in 2013 when you joined.
Yeah.
Not looking all that good, but you know, you had money to move forward. But you felt guilty about a lot of stuff with family and other things.
Yeah.
2017, looking pretty good.
Yeah. And I've got, in the meantime, my super is built up now, so I can have a look at self-managed super fund this year, which is
exactly
pretty good.
right. Nice little commercial in there, it'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So some nice figures there, some nice uplift, and most of all, there's some nice cash flow there too.
Yeah. And the debt's gone.
And the debt's gone. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So your advice for everybody?
My advice is, what did I put up there? It's a bit about trust. On the practical side, these are the ones on the practical side. So there's another slide there.
Do you like that one too?
Yeah, this one's pretty important. Listen to what's in here. You obviously need to use this, but listen to what's in here. When you're making decisions, you have to be comfortable with it. You have to be peaceful with it. And if the tension is too uncomfortable, then I'd say you either haven't done enough research, so therefore you don't know, or it's the wrong decision. So,
You're obviously very intuitive.
oh, okay. Thank you. Maybe I don't know.
Cheers.
Yeah. So, and that's very important that you've grown in confidence enough to be able to trust that.
Yes.
Because that comes from a position of confidence and self-love and a self-appreciation, which perhaps when you started you're a little bit lacking in, and you've grown into that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. I think on the previous slide is one of my favourite Bible verses, which is act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. So I've had to learn to do that over that journey as well. So, yeah.
Well done. Give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.